Most of the time, whenever I feature Florencio in one of my videos, he's either playing Terran or Protoss. However, recently, he's been practicing Zerg over on the South Korean ladder. So spawning here in the top right-hand corner of Pillars of Gold and playing with the red Protoss probes, we have none other than Florencio. Now, I'm gonna make the assumption everyone knows who he is by now, but just in case you are unfamiliar, Florencio likes to play the game a little bit differently than pretty much everyone else. I don't know what to expect in this particular one, but I'm sure we'll find out very soon. His opponent in the opposite corner from South Korea, playing with the blue Protoss probes, he goes by the name of, well, just Cool. Cool. Alright. Now... Florencio mentioned when he sent me this replay that this is the third game that these two played against each other in a row. So I don't really know what's going on over here. Maybe there's a bit of social distancing going on. I don't know, man. A social distance party, is that a thing? I can make the assumption here that Florencio has been messing with this man for a little bit too long. That already, Protoss has decided that he really does not want to get screwed over once again by something random on his side of the map. Now, speaking of random things on his side of the map, I can't help but notice that two drones are already making their way towards the opponent's site. It was a pretty quick gas geyser here, followed up with a spawning pool as well. Let's see, he does have the minerals right now. I think, yeah, okay, I think that this Protoss player probably has gotten Hatchery blocked far too many times. Pretty sure. Now, you can actually still plant a hatch. Oh! I don't know exactly. Like, basically, if you get attacked, you hold position for just a second, there you go. The probes basically scoot to a halt, and then from there, they continue moving forward, right? So it's a little bit tricky to pull off, but sometimes you can still squeeze out the hatchery, even when you're being chased by a probe. Cool, though, has decided to lose his cool when he's gone for the Forge. I guess Forge First is a really safe opener. I mean, most of the time, whenever we see Forge First, it's obviously going to be Protoss trying to go for a cannon rush, but you know what? I don't actually mind it if you're really struggling against whatever the Zerg is throwing at you. One of the gases is going to be stolen. There's a bit of a supply block over here as well, which really hurts. And this seems to be the way in which Florencio likes to play his games. Basically, he creates chaos. And in the midst of chaos, people usually forget how to macro reasonably well in a game of StarCraft. Is he still going to be able to get the hatch block? Okay, I was going to say, if he can still block the natural expansion, that would be nasty. In the meantime, though, there's a Roach Warren coming up. There's quite a lot of gas being harvested. No Queen here, because Queens apparently are overrated. Instead, we have the Burrow upgrade. In case you're just now tuning in, this is just a regular game of StarCraft. Welcome to 2021. There's double Proxy Hatchery in the opponent's base, and there is a Roach coming up right now here for the Zerg. Now, you know what? Yeah. The Changelings, or the Brootlings rather, they don't mess around. They apparently managed to kill one of the Zealots. Now, Zerg units, while they're still inside of their cocoon, they have a ton of armor, so they barely take any damage here, so you can see the Roach will be able to come out. I really like this, though. Yeah, you can technically kite this for a very long time. Now, keep in mind, he researched Burrow, so he can start playing, like Roach Whack-A-Mole, you know? Whenever he's low hit point, or low HP. I was trying to make hit points and HP in one word. Whenever he's at low hit points, he's going to be able to burrow the Roach, just like that. And then continue onwards for a little while longer. Now, obviously, they heal over time as well. All Zerg units do. I love this kind of stuff. Look at it. Alright, so once again, another Proxy Hatchery was started up. Cool, though. Did decide to plant down a natural here eventually. Now, he needs some sort of detection. Do you think he realizes that this Roach has been burrowing? I'm assuming he does, but maybe he's looked away every single time that the Roach pops on the ground. I mean, he should know what's going on, right? He really needs some sort of detection. He's got a Forge. Would not mind seeing a photon cannon right over here, or maybe a photon cannon right over here. Oh, oh my god, he's only just now building the Cybercore. I just realized that that Cybercore is extremely late. Bailing Nest coming up as a follow-up as well. There's a macro hatchery here inside of the main base. Branda over here hard at work to generate additional larvae while he's stacking up towards a lair. Zealots, hello. Zealots? Guys? Hello. Lads. You... I like to think that somewhere out there in Korea, there's someone sitting with their hands in their hair, screaming at their monitor right now from what Florencio is doing against them. So finally, the boys continue working right over here on that hatchery. Honestly, I think what you want to do if you want to continue making roaches, you save up larvae. I think you make, like, 3 roaches here at once when there's enough larvae available. You could even try and squeeze out a queen if you're really feeling ambitious. A couple of Zerglings actually just apparently walked into the natural because obviously the Zealots are not inside of the wall off. So they're actually going to be able to continue working here quite nicely. Queen starts up, but that's probably a little bit too late. Double Stargate as a follow-up here from Cool because apparently he's been flooding a lot of resources. This time around, the Broodlings are not going to be able to kill any of those Zealots, but we do see the Roaches spawning here in just a sec. Look at the potential though, man. Look at Florencio actually. He's currently flooding like over 1,100 minerals here. That is a lot of money. What exactly is he going to follow this up with? Would love to see him saturating this gas over here and maybe, I don't know, like literally just take an expansion or continue the one-base shenanigans. I think if you are going to be continuing the one-base shenanigans, you want to be adding on additional queens and I think a Nydus Worm. Yeah, this is actually a really nasty one-base play. If your opponent does not... Like, you can burrow micro these guys. There you go. If your opponent is not paying very close attention, you can just pop these units on the ground. And then they'll continue healing. Now, even though he's got a forge, there is no photon cannon to be seen anywhere. So there's no detection here available at all for Cool. Oh my god, he can't even see them though. I wonder if he's noticed. I'm assuming he has noticed by now, but I mean... The way he's playing doesn't really... Yeah, he must be seeing it, right? That these units are popping underground. Anyways. Spore Crawlers on the other side of the map. Hatchery on the other side of the map as well. Additional queens are coming up, which I actually really, really like. No! Prismatic Alignment! Ah! Yeah, Prismatic Alignment absolutely wrecks all of these roaches in just a matter of seconds. So already 23 workers have gone down here. For the Protoss. Now, even though he's got no detection and even though he's losing a lot of stuff, he is making Void Rays, right? And as we all know, Void Rays are pretty good units. He doesn't have... Well, he actually only has 12 workers remaining, or 13 probes right now remaining. Void Rays are pretty fantastic, though. Here it is. I love this. Nydus network goes up, and there's a Hydra Den. I don't even think you need the Hydra Den, to be honest. I think you just continue making roaches and just pump queens 2 at a time. Once you finish the natural expansion, you start pumping 3 queens at a time. Just put the Nydus inside of the main. You can go really, really far with a build as cheeky as this one. Sadly, that Overlord overstaying is welcome. Man, imagine if this... Okay, so the Nydus Worm is gonna, I think, go up here in a second. You can just Nydus over here, by the way. It doesn't really matter. I guess you prefer putting it in the main base. But truth be told, this Nydus could have actually been like a good 2 minutes earlier. You could definitely get this out much, much faster with the same amount of queens. Just because Florencio was flooding there for a little bit. The reason why I don't really like the Hydra transition here too much is because they really do need both upgrades before they're useful. Oh, I guess with the Roach burrowed, actually. Oh, you know what he could have done as well? He could have, like, snuck one of the Zerglings in, burrowed it over there, to provide vision to pop down the Nydus Worm. Because he could pop the Nydus Worm right over here, but obviously that's going to be killed right away. Oh god. Oh god. Hey, Mr. Protoss, don't lose your cool, my man. I'm just saying, I know you've been playing Roach Whack-A-Mole for quite some time, but... Oh god, can you please deactivate Prismatic Alignment? Oh god, no, 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 no! Where you going? Where are you going, buddy? Oh. Alright. That was disappointing. Prismatic Alignment against queens is something special anyway. Well, you know what? Florencio, ooh. If the Zealots were paying attention... How fast is this Protoss? Oh, he's got 54 APS. This is Platinum League on Korea? My god. Alright, transfuse, transfuse, transfuse. There you go. Fun fact about the Nydus Worms, if you go ahead and put the queens in first, there will also be the units that pop out of the worm on the other side first. And obviously right now, I mean, this is an awful lot of units that are inside of the main base here of the Protoss player. And with that, apparently Cool lost his cool and decided to leave the game. Alright, you know what? Since I've been trash talking this Protoss here for a little while, and actually I've been making some suggestions for improvements, I suppose what we'll call it, for Florencio as well. Let's actually talk about what this Protoss should have done slightly differently, right? So first off, Chrono Boost over there, a little bit of a funky timing. Pylon is very late as well. This pylon on top of that is also not really in the optimal position because it makes it difficult to create a wall of right here where the pylon isn't part of it. Now obviously these are all small things, but they add up very easily over time. If you're worried about getting cheesed, I highly recommend you go ahead and send out a probe right away. So literally as the game starts, you just select one of your probes, send it to your opponent's natural, because if the Zerg would have gone for a hatch first, you would see the drone as it moves down towards the low ground. If it doesn't like show up in the natural of the opponent shortly after your probe arrives, you know that something is not quite right and it's probably going to be a pull first here from the opposing Zerg. Alright, next up, Gateway. Once again, late, right? So the pylon was late. There's a lot of probes right now on idle. And, I mean, the chrono boost was wasted. So already, like, even though nothing's really happened yet at this point, this Protoss is already putting himself unnecessarily behind. Now, for reference, most of the time, if you want to play a normal follow-up here as a Protoss player, you'd go Ghast, right? And then you go 20 supply Nexus and 20 supply Cybercore. Now, the reason why you want to know, like, you don't go 20 supply Forge. The reason why you want to know if your opponent went pool first or hatch first is so you can decide if you want to go Cybercore first or Nexus first. So if you scout, okay, my opponent is going to go for a quick hatchery on the low ground, you're fine taking the hatchery, or sorry, the Nexus here at 20 supply as well. But if you notice that your opponent has decided to skip the natural expansion, you would go for the Cybercore as soon as possible. When you think about it, the Cybercore really is one of the most critical structures for Protoss, because from there you can go into Twilight, Robo, and Stargate. But all of those three tech choices, they all need a Cybercore, right? So going for the Forge here, it's very unnecessary. Now, obviously, you know, the reason why this is happening is because Florencio has been messing with this man's mind for a little bit too long already. But with the Cybercore being this late, right? Like, it's not going to show up until much, much later. It basically means that any follow-up that this Protoss player has, you know, available to him, it's just not going to show up until so much later. I still don't know why he decided to make a Forge. Like, this is, like, it's minutes. It's literally minutes later than it should have been. Now, obviously, this Protoss player is putting out fires here constantly, right? So I can forgive the macro not working out very smoothly, but it certainly is something worth pointing out. I also think whenever you're in a defensive scenario, Void Rays can be good, but Queens are real scary. I think it's probably a little bit safer to go for the robotics facility instead, just because you have easy access to those observers. Alternatively, you could go Stargate and then squeeze out an Oracle, but Oracles, I mean, they are detectors. They are very good with their revelation ability, but it's just not as reliable as just, you know, an Immortal, an Observer, and a War Prism. Alrighty, so I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you want to see more Florencio games, let me know down below in the comment section of this video. Also, hit me up with that like button. It takes about 1 second, but that way, this video may very well get picked up by the YouTube algorithm, which would be kind of neat, because that way, we can continue growing StarCraft 2 going forward as well. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.